Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Laura. She loved to read stories about fairies. And one day, she finally got to meet one.
Hi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the diaries. This is part 2 of a 2-part that started out as a 1-part, wound up a 2-part after I discovered that part 2 wouldn't fit on this part 1.
What the heck is wrong with you?
In part. So, what this episode is going to be is the second part of the look around the manor and seeing all the stuff. There's not much more to say about it. I will tell you this though. I did mention that there was going to be, well, I mentioned 2 things. One, I mentioned I was going to show you a spirit bottle in action last episode. And I didn't do it! And that's because I ran out of time, and plus, I forgot. I know, big shock there. So that will be here. The other thing is exciting news for me. Hopefully it'll be for you too, but this month of May 2025, we are doing a road trip. My son and I. Most of you have never seen my son. My son's been in only 1 episode in the last 8 years that Darkslade Diaries before version 2 came out. He's only been in 1 video, so we are going to Disneyland, and I'm going to film it. It should be an interesting trip. It should be a fun trip too. And the other news is, as of a week ago Thursday, no, a week ago last week on Wednesday, I became a retired person. Yep, I put in my application for retirement. I got my retirement package, and I am now officially, technically retired. But I'm still working. Why is that? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Right now, it's because I'm not going to go up to my boss and say, hey, I retired, see you later. So I gave him a month's notice. So I'll be working through May, and then after that, I should only be working 1 or 2 days a week. I'm doing that because the last time I didn't have to go into work for months on end, I wound up spending a buttload of money and doing this Haunted Mansion homage. I can't afford to do that too many times, even though financially I'll be in a lot better position now that I've retired. But the other reason is I happen to really love my job, and I don't want to leave it entirely. I don't want to necessarily be there as often, but I don't want to leave it entirely. So I should be working 1 or 2 days a week. I think 16 hours is the max I'm going to do. That won't affect my retirement. Actually, none of it should, because I don't earn diddly squat there. So, vacation coming. This summer is going to be a heck of a lot more fun, because I'm going to have more time to go out and do stuff and take you with me. Halloween should be better. Christmas should be a heck of a lot better. It's going to be a better year, and I'm glad to be able to put it into version 2.0 so it can be enjoyed by all of you peoples. And since these videos are coming out quicker, they're shorter, and they're coming out quicker once a week so far, it should be lots of cheese. So, that all put to this side over here, and without any further ado, let's get going. Okay, so back here, you see this clock. The face of the clock is from the grandfather clock in the hallway. before the seance room. But the rest of this is a homemade job. See, up at the top, you got that face, got kind of a face. And in the Haunted Mansion, it's a demon's face, and the clock is in the mouth. So it's very, very similar to that feel. And then down here, let's go down. This, which is supposed to be the cabinet, the door to the inner workings, is just a facade. But this guy right here in the middle, that was made by a good friend of mine, who you may have met if you've watched before, and that's Charles. It's the center of the door in the Hall of Doors in the Haunted Mansion. It's the part that if you go past the breathing door, the part that sticks out the furthest, it's right in the middle of all of the doors. Now you might wonder where I got this main structure from. I'll show you. Over here is Millie and Lissa. They are kind of like my two representatives of my front room Haunted Mansion homage. And they're standing in front of a mirror. And if you look up at the mirror, you'll see, oh, that's the same face as the clock. That's because I had two of these mirrors, and I turned one into the clock. I got the mirrors also from Charles, who found them at a garage sale, I think it was. And so I asked him to pick them up for me. He sent me pictures of them. I thought they were small, like hand mirrors. They're not, they're huge. And they weighed 250,000 pounds each. They were heavy. I took the mirrors out and discovered that framework and all that's all made of plastic, weighs about 18 ounces. That mirror almost broke my spinal cord. Here's another one of my favorites. This is the Gargoyles from the Stretching Portrait Gallery. This is also a tragic figure because he has fallen off the wall about 3 times and I've had to put him back together, said many times. This is a 3D print that I commissioned, and it looks pretty darn good. It is a bit smaller than the original. I can show you. Yes, walk over here very carefully, and you see, yeah, the originals are quite a bit bigger than that. But he keeps an eye on things in here. And one of my personal favorite purchases that I got back in the time when I had money. Now, one thing about him is, or her, you know, you can't tell with gargoyles, is this one talks. Now, I rigged up a sound card behind him. Unfortunately, the battery is dead right now, and the batteries are those little tiny button batteries, very tiny, small. And I am fresh out, and I cannot right now afford to go out and get one. So he usually says, "Giggle, giggle, 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 get out." Actually, this is what it is. Yep. That's what he says when he's working. Yeah. It's haunted. It's mansiony. And this right here, this is the OG Haunted Mansion wall. This is what I first started with. It was just this corner. You'll notice that the wallpaper, the print on the wallpaper is much bigger. This is actually closer to the actual size. But that's made out of 28 sheets of paper that I Mod Podged together to hang up. And then the painting in the center, of course, is the stretching pair of smart poop cheese.
Everything's under control, situation normal.
The stretching portrait from the stretching portrait room. And then below that, on this little shelf, we have the singing busts. You just have to take my word for it. Then over here, we have little Leota. Now, little Leota does her spiel, again, when the batteries are working. You gotta understand, I only use the Leota and the Gargoyle, you know, the talking properties at Halloween time. So I don't replace them. But she glows blue, and she does the Herback thing. And it's pretty creepy when it's running. And you'll see it in the next Halloween episode. You can actually see it in one of the last Halloween episodes, but you got to really go back to see it. This down here is the candle table. That's the floor. That's the candle table. And it has numerous things that don't pertain to the Haunted Mansion, but they're creepy anyway. But it does have Madame Leota head on it. The crystal ball. She also talks. Let me see if she's working. Wouldn't that be cool? I have got to straighten up in the front room. Let's see.
Serpents and spiders, tail of a rat, call in the spirits, wherever they're at. Rat on a table. It's time to
It's pretty cool. I like the way it mists up. Now this is not the only Leota I have, and saying only Leota is not all that easy either. I have another one over on the side table, and before I show that, I'm going to clear some stuff off. You know the side table, it's where I sit next to when doing the boxes thing. So let me get the stuff off that shouldn't be on it, and I'll show it to you.
Wherever you dwell, give us a hint by ringing the bell.
That is so cool. Yep, so cool. Now this is kind of a mishmash of stuff. In the back is the hitchhiking ghost, an entire scene. Those lanterns lit up. The ones up on the gate. Those lit up while I was at the park. As soon as I brought it home, they didn't work, and they haven't since. These things here are pill bottles, but they're stretching portraits that stretch and have a hard time going back down inside. They're made out of ceramic. I have 3 of them. And then I have the gargoyles, little gargoyles. Now these are things that you can buy at the park that are not too terribly expensive. They'll give you some good vibes. This doll is just creepiness from the get-go. Yeah, her batteries are a little dead too. But she'd say things like, your mother doesn't love you. It's really heartwarming. And then I got some apothecary bottles, which I put up here. Look good. I got those at Michael's. So not everything is directly from the Haunted Mansion. Like these masks, which came with the little apple dolls that I showed you at one point in time. This headstone down here, which is just sitting there right now. This mask was made by my youngest daughter, and I think it fits in the situation very well. And then up here on either side of April, we have the dueling portraits. They don't turn and shoot at each other, but they look like they will. And the wallpaper here is not exactly the same as in the ballroom, but it is one of the same series in the design. And it's the closest one I could get because the one from the ballroom no longer exists. That being said, wow, am I in the shadow? There we go. That being said, if you want to get the wallpaper from the Haunted Mansion, from the foyer, the room that you first enter, you can still purchase that. And I will put down here what the name of that pattern is, and hopefully where you can get it. I'll do that. And I can't go anywhere without mentioning Millie and Lissa, the 2 girls, my 2 girls, who are dead. Anyway, they're dolls. They're possessed dolls in the storyline. And there are a couple of mischievous ones, but they are the main residents here. And at Halloween time, they can be really creepy. Yeah, kind of like that. Okay, so here's one of the spirit jars, the spirit bottle, and here behind it is the one that my daughter gave me, which I was just using. So we turn this around so you can see the back of it. You won't have to look through the label.
Be sure to bring your death certificate.
Well, that was a short version.
Family, friends,
There we go.
next of kin. Summon a spirit from the mansion. Ghoulies travel from near and far. All invited to reside in a jar.
That's kind of a morose future for a specter to reside in a jar. So anyway, that's the spirit bottle with new batteries in it on a table with old batteries all over it. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you found that interesting. I hope you got some entertainment out of this one, and we'll see what happens on the next one. You'll note they're coming out about once a week. That's pretty exciting stuff right there, let me tell you a story. And hopefully it will continue to be that way. And I have a piece of news about that, actually, which I will bring up later. In the meantime, you guys have yourselves a great week. And the haunted one. That hurts my neck. Considered our little weird anyway. End of line.